Hello, my name is Tina, and I am so excited to welcome you to our Meet the Artist program, where we're here as a mentorship program cohort to introduce yourselves to our work. So I'll start by introducing yourself to me. I'm Tina, and I'm an artist and educator that lives here in Marysville. And the mentorship program is something that I dreamed up and was really fortunate to have a partnership with YubaSutterArts and California Arts Council to make this dream a reality. So this program is all about artistic development for visual artists in the Yuba-Sutter region. So if we want to bring up the picture, I want you to meet our artists, and they'll share a little bit more about their work in just a minute. So these are the faces of the folks that have been working together for the past year through this crazy pandemic year, making art together and deepening their exploration of the art that they make. So starting from the corner here, we have Kathy. She is not going to be able to join us today, but you can see her work coming up later in the month in her mentorship show, along with other program folks. So that's Kathy, and next to Kathy is Sue. Sue lives in Yuba City, and Kathy lives in Live Oak. The next artist over is Laura, and she was living in Marysville, but she now lives in Santa Rosa. And then directly under Laura, we're going to move the opposite direction through the names here. So that's Amelia. She is coming to us from Yuba City. And next to Amelia is Ash Arroyo, and she is in Yuba City. And James is next to Ash, and he is in Marysville. And next to James, we have Rochelle, who's also in Marysville. So these are your neighbors, and we're so excited to introduce ourselves to you. So just to give you a little bit more context, what our program looked like over this past year was us getting together every month, sometimes on Zoom, sometimes in person, to look at the work we were making and talk about it together. So this is one of our early meetings. I think this was our first meeting. And then the next image is another mentorship meeting a couple months later, where we continue to regularly meet together and talk about the work we were making. So that was a big part of what the program was. And in addition to these group meetings, the mentorship program also met one-on-one. Again, this happened via Zoom or sometimes in person. This is in the studio of Amelia, where we met and talked together, me as the mentor and Amelia as the artist, sort of talking about her work in progress and providing support, feedback, tools, resources, things that artists really could use to help them grow deeper in their art practice. So that's kind of what we did as a program. So I'm going to kind of step back, and now we're here to listen and learn more about these amazing artists that live among us. So let's start with James. I'm sorry, I'm still a little nervous, but it's so important that you meet these folks. So James, do you want to get us started and share a little bit more about your work?
Me?
Yep, you go ahead. What are we looking at here, James?
Sure. I can't.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Hi, everyone. So it does seem like James is lagging just a little bit. So if you want, Tina, we can come back to him afterwards.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's switch to Sue and then come back to James and see if we can work out the kinks of the technology. Sue, are you ready to share some about your work?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, thanks for this. I photograph nature in its natural settings. So I like to refer to myself kind of as a hunter and a stalker and a shooter, but I use my camera, of course. And many things in nature are seasonal and they just come around once a year. You learn that through photography. It's a great teaching tool for nature. You learn the interaction of plants and animals and insects and the seasonal occurrence. And in this case, it's a pond lily. And right now they are growing and they are very tall and they fill up a pond at the William Land Park pond right by the fairy tale town. And when you go early morning, you'll see the place surrounded with photographers trying to pick out a single flower. It's just filled with flowers and again, seed pods and great big beautiful leaves. So it's an annual trek and a pilgrimage to go to the pond at William Land Park and see this annual event. And there's something about annual seasonal nature events that just give you a lot of hope. And so this was one of them, one of my treks to an urban setting, really, city setting. Again, this is a seasonal visitor, a little warbler. It's called a common yellowthroat, even though they're really not commonly seen. And you hear them. You hear them before you see them usually, and they don't stay sitting still for very long. So in this case, it was in the Sacramento Davis area. There's a wildlife refuge, and I heard the bird. And once in a while, I could see him flying. And so there's a bird app you can put on your phone and then put through your Bluetooth, and I could bring up the sound of the common yellowthroat. So he came out where I could photograph him. He didn't stay very long, but long enough for me to be able to get a few shots. So he's answering the calls that were coming off of the bird website. So that's about that one. And I like to introduce nature into everyday settings at home. I will have some favorite images on my mirrors. This one is a sunrise. This was a COVID morning. This was a very lonely sunrise COVID morning. And the sun just, we count on the sun coming up every day. It gave me a lot of hope that that single bird. And it just kind of replicated the moment. So that's a blackbird. But I like to introduce the nature images, like I say, into everyday settings. I pair them with other items and objects, or just have them sitting around or on the wall, or like I say, again, on mirrors. So that's pretty much it. I do take landscape photographs as well. The nature and the emphasis on birds is that they're very interesting and they're such a challenge because they move. And it's just been a great educational tool to learn about what lives around us. And so anyway, that's kind of the sum of that. Have any questions? Or?
Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you so much, Sue. You're welcome.
How can people stay in touch with you if they want to stay in touch with what you're working on and your art?
Thanks, Tina. I post pretty much every day on Facebook. I'll post an image. And then I do have a website with my name, suegrau.zenfolio. And it's Zen like Zen, and then FOLIO.com. And so, but Facebook is a great place because it's the place where I post daily. And again,
I love seeing your posts in my feed. It's really delightful to follow Sue and see her nature photography sort of start your day. In a Facebook landscape that can sometimes be a little depressing, it's always beautiful to have those images of the natural world. Thank you so much. Laura, Why don't
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about what you do as an artist?
Okay. I'm Laura Lake, and I am a painter and photographer. Right now, I'm working in acrylics. I love the freedom of them. I started in oils, so it took a little getting used to them as they dry a lot faster, but somebody introduced me to a slower drying medium in acrylic, which I've just been enjoying working with. This is my latest one. It is called Evening Drive Surprise. Me and my partner were driving home one time. We decided to take a shortcut, and we go up this one-lane road. And at one time, it turns into a dirt road, and we're kind of wondering, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that, but we did anyway. And so the further we went, it started opening up, and then we go around this corner, and there's just these rolling hills of vineyards. It was just a beautiful spot. And the light was evening time, and I just decided I needed to paint that. So that is that one. I do landscapes, flowers. I haven't taken on any animals yet, but anything that kind of inspires me. I love nature, the ocean, probably the most, and which is one of the reasons we moved to Santa Rosa. The other reason is we wound up in this very cool live work space where we have our gallery and studio downstairs and our live space upstairs. So it's very conducive to creating more art as well. And then having a place to show it is important. And we are actually setting a soft opening of the gallery July 17th. So that's very exciting. We're looking forward to that. Next piece is my first and foremost love as far as nature goes, is the ocean. I can go out and sit there for hours just listening to the waves and watching how all the water interacts with whatever it hits as it comes to shore. I'm mesmerized by the ocean, always have been. This one was painted from one of my photographs. The photograph is a lot bigger in scope and in area, and I zoomed in on this spot. And I just loved the shadow play of the water as it hit this rock way out there. It's called First Kiss because this is one of the outer lying rocks where the waves come in and they just have this spout as they splash up. And the way the shadows interplayed with the light coming through the water was just fascinating to me. So that was the inspiration for this piece here. And this one is a creation of my own. It started off being red poppies, and I have been trying for a long time to really loosen up my style. When I painted in oils, I painted very tight, and then I switched to pastels for a while and even got a little bit more illustrative. So through this program, we've been talking about accepting your art brain as it is. And so I'm still trying to find, the direction that I really want to kind of hone in on. But for right now, I just enjoy painting everything. And that piece was one of them that I just thought, you know what, I just want to paint a flower out of my head. So that's kind of what this was. I just love the color play and the interplay of kind of the laciness of the flower. So, and it's just called Flower. There's no direct name for it. I started painting too on the thicker canvases, which I'm enjoying, making it kind of almost three-dimensional in that you paint the sides of the canvas as well. So that's kind of where I am with my work and what I do. The mentorship program has been extremely helpful to me, and that Tina has helped me focus in on that accepting the art brain, helped me with designing catalogs, what it takes, how professional it is, and what it is that I really want out of an art business and what direction I want to go. So it's been extremely helpful. Thank you, Tina.
It's been so great to have you in the program. So how do people stay in touch with your work?
I am also on Facebook. I have my personal Facebook, which is just Laura Lake Peterson, and I also have Lake Imagery, which is my business Facebook. On Instagram, working on a website. But you can message me, you can email me at lala.painter@yahoo.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or requests or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's see. So who's next? Amelia, you are next. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your work? Let me mute myself.
Yes, hello, I'm Amelia. I'll wait for something to load. All right, this is one of my paintings. It's titled Be Nothing. And this is kind of like the artwork that I love to do is abstract, sometimes more surreal. I do lean on realism at times, not so much in my current work, but I still enjoy using that representation specifically of humans and human form in my artwork, even if I do abstract it. So that's kind of seen in this painting. These creature human things are kind of in different stages of breakdown, kind of merging with these lines that are shooting out of and connecting each one of them. Yeah, and you can kind of see like some of them are looking a little bit more human, others are morphing together, and then there are some that have just completely become the line themselves. And it's this particular painting is a part of a series of 4 paintings that I've done within the Art Mentorship program that kind of show these different stages of both physical and spiritual breakdown, and like becoming with the absolute, whatever you want to call that. Wait for it next. There we go. This is another painting in this mini series of mine. This is one of the first paintings in the series. So in this one, they're all pretty defined figures. Like I said, pretty abstracted. I really, with this series and with my style currently that started off during the Art Mentorship program, I've really wanted to focus on specifically a new color palette, because in the past, I really love darker colors. I love black. I love deep reds and greens especially. And so those are kind of the colors that have dominated my artwork for the longest time, especially through high school. But I definitely wanted to try some different colors, and primarily I wanted to heavily use white because I don't know why, but white paint just seems very energetic to me. It carries a lot of energy. It kind of seems like a really wide open space whenever I use white in a painting. So that's kind of the energy that I wanted to give off in my current series of work. And then lots of use of black and line work, especially in this painting that, took me quite a while, but this was actually heavily inspired by Emma Kunz's art, who she does a lot of abstracted, heavy line work, intricate details and designs. It's quite beautiful work. You should check it out. But this is the final piece in the series of 4 that I did, the mini-series, where all these human-like figures have finally either merged completely with the lines, or you can see their little blob remnants of the human that they used to be, I guess. But yeah, again, just leaning on those lighter colors, but still trying to convey some sort of energy, some sort of presence, even through a lack of intense color. Yeah, but I've had a lot of fun trying out this style, and I definitely am going to continue on with it. I'm pretty pleased with the work that I've been doing so far, especially this painting. This one's titled Nothing All. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Amelia. How do people stay in touch? And yeah, how do people follow you and stay in touch with you?
Yeah, I post my work regularly, everything that I work on. I post onto Instagram, and my little @ thing is Scrambled Head Scribbles, just all in one on Instagram, Scrambled Head Scribbles. Yeah, and that's just my art dedicated Instagram. Also for like commissions or ideas that people may have for my artwork, I'll on through email. My email's amviagomez711@gmail.com, and people can just use that to reach out to me, like I said, for commissions or ideas that they have about my artwork.
Fantastic. I want to make sure that people can connect with each of you and make sure to stay in touch to see your work more. So that's my question, my follow-up question. We are gonna move next to Rochelle because we have some audio issues. So Rochelle, can you share us a little bit more about your work with us?
Yeah, I paint from just about anything. This one here is a spacescape, I guess you would call it. It's the Horsehead Nebula. This is an acrylic painting. I primarily work in acrylics and watercolors. So that is this one. This one is a pretty small 10 by 20 and acrylic on canvas. And is the next one ready? Okay. This one here is another common subject for me, castles. This is the Iron Islands from the Game of Thrones series. I did a commissioned series of 3 or 4 of these castles here. And this is also acrylic. Let's see, and the last one is one of the ones I did most recently for the COVID Stories show back in 2020. This is an orchid, a little frog down there. His name is Steve. The series each featured an animal, bird, frog that I named after wildlife warriors or conservationists. So this one's actually named after Steve Irwin, who's one of my favorite people. But that's really about it. Most of my work does feature a lot of nature, exotic flowers, landscapes, cityscapes, architecture. I'm working on a series for an upcoming show, trying to feature historic architectural buildings around Marysville downtown. So going a little local for my next set versus reaching so far away from inspiration. So we'll see how that comes out.
So how can folks find you and follow your work? Where can we find you online?
I am on Facebook and
Okay.
Instagram, just under Rochelle Danable. You can email me at rochellesart@yahoo.com. And currently working on a website. Don't have that up and going yet, but I will be announcing that when I get it going.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Rochelle. James, shall we try again? Thank you. Let's.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, so my name is James, and I am into sculpting. I usually work in clay. I took all 4 possible semesters of sculpting at Yuba College, and then I actually audited the 4th one again, so I took 5 semesters of sculpting. But I also like to play around with found objects, or some people call it assemblage. So I made this little robot a couple of months ago. It's made with things that I've found, either things that I've owned that broke, so I took them apart and saved the parts to use. Mostly, sometimes I'll find things at Goodwill that I think I can use later, and I'll buy them. And I finished him off with, I collect polished stone hearts, and I finished off this sculpture by giving him the bright red one in the middle. So I named him. I named that one Exposed because his front is open and his heart is exposed. And then the next one, I love working also with metal. This one's made out of wire and sheet metal. This is a praying mantis, and this is what they do when they go in their defensive posture. So this one is called defense. The praying mantis is basically trying to make himself look bigger and defend himself from something. So this is wire and sheet metal praying mantis. And I named this sculpture Standing Tall. It is a giraffe, and I was just playing around with wire. My favorite thing about this sculpture is the entire thing is made from one piece. So it starts, it winds around, and it ends, and there's no breaks or cuts or splices. So it was pretty tricky to use a spool of wire and try to move it the way I wanted it to, and get this to turn out the way it did. But I'm happy with the way it looks, and I'm excited that I was able to do it with one piece. Also, I wanted to add that I really enjoyed the Art Mentorship program, and the favorite thing for me, besides hanging out with the other local artists, was how much Tina helped push us and everything she offered to us. She asked what we wanted to get out of the program and how she could help us. So, for me, I asked questions about art shows and school and resumes, and she just covered everything, and she gave us resources and direction and guidance, and she's opened her gallery to us, and the whole experience has been amazing. So I just also wanted to thank you, Tina, for that.
Thank you, James. It's been such a meaningful journey, hasn't it? It's been so cool to get connected to each other. I think that's one of the jewels of what this program is all about, is about all of you meeting each other and hopefully staying in touch, because that's one of those things that we do in art school, is we get to meet and happen upon meeting other artists. But that's something that we don't need art school to create, right? We made that through this wonderful program. So you have each other in your lives now. And now the whole community, we can all meet each other and look at these amazing resources for art. And many of them do commissions. If you're watching, you got a great idea, you want some art in your house. That's why we're trying to connect you with these artists. So James, how do we get in touch with you if we want some art in some sculpture?
So the most thorough thing that I've completed is my website, which is jamesdonaldsondesigns.com. On there, I now have links to my Instagram and Facebook, which I just am getting up and running. So there's not much on there, but you can find everything on the website, including you can contact me through there, and you can find links to Facebook and Instagram. More photos to come. I'm pretty behind on updating those, but the website's the most comprehensive.
Fantastic. And we will probably have time at the end of the show to do some questions. So if you have questions, please put them in the comments so we can address them after we get through all of the artists. So we have one more artist that we're going to hear from today. Ash Arroyo, would you like to share more about your work?
Yeah, I'm Ash. I make animated-inspired art that's mostly focused on my own characters. This is Equinox, and I drew him in a very cutesy outfit because I like cutesy outfits. Go to the next one. This is another piece that I didn't give it a name. I never give them names. When it comes to me, it comes to me. But this is another one of my characters. I drew this in pen and ink. And she's looking very pretty there. Her name is Minerva, by the way. And this is another comic. Well, this is another piece that I drew. It's a comic. And it's also in ink. It's just a silly, fun comic that I did very quickly in one afternoon. I think it was actually a part of a drawing challenge called Inktober. This was a couple of years ago. So yeah, that's my art.
So how do we stay in touch with you, Ash? How do we follow what you're doing?
Oh, that's right. You can find me on Instagram at Sinclair8 with a K. That's probably the best way to keep in touch with my art. And yeah, I mean, I just want to say also, like James said, that I did have a lot of fun with this mentorship, and I do want to thank not only Tina but everyone else, because I feel like a big part of why I really enjoyed this was all of the talks that we had throughout the year, honestly.
May I add to that as well? I didn't, and thanks for prompting about the mentorship program, because I know it's one of the questions that's on the question page too, but you know, what was the inspiration to join? And so what I'd like to say overall is that I really like that we're all connected. It was like going to a museum where we had a docent that could guide us all, and even we were all different. And I loved the language, and you were such a great listener, Tina. We all had something to ask and learn, and we all got to learn from one another as well. I mean, even though we have different art mediums, some of those subtle nuances apply to every single one of us, just the experience of being an artist. And so it was just so supportive, and especially through the year of COVID, it was like a bright light for that entire year. And I'm just so grateful that the Arts Council was able to provide it, that you wanted to do it, that was your idea. And I first heard about it, I felt very inspired. I questioned what I was feeling. I lived with it for a couple of days and it didn't go away. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go for it. And you helped me to define myself as an artist, not being defined externally as an artist. So I got to, this was my coming out party. I'm an artist. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, everybody.
You are an artist. I'm so happy that this program helped you to sit in that label with a little bit more comfort and confidence, Sue. You're fantastic.
Seriously.
We're so fortunate to have you in our community.
Oh, thank you so much. I just adore it. It was like the key to the lock. I mean, I never would have anticipated that, but it was an inspired decision, and it was right. Follow your inspirations.
Yeah. Does anyone else, or maybe each of us, so just sort of share what caused us to apply to do this program? Like what inspired each of you?
Yeah, I'll share. When I heard about the program from Tina, you had posted something about it on one of your platforms, probably both. And at that time, I had already done a project with you. We did the window installation at the Painting and Sculpture Outpost together. So I was already familiar with Tina and her work and the artist that she was. And the program started right as I was coming out of high school, graduating and going into college. So it just kind of seems like the right time to start something new, to progress my artwork, because in high school, I had art classes every single day, and that's kind of what, kept me consistently making work, consistently learning. So I figured this would be, the next step for that, to help me work on my art, develop my skills, develop my artistic vocabulary, and it worked out.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, wonderful, Laura.
Yeah. I saw it actually on Facebook when it was posted, and I kind of doubted, it was kind of vacillating whether it was right for me or not. And upon your encouragement, thank you very much. She had encouraged me to apply. So I did. And, your sheet of, and that was actually the first step, because in the application, you had to kind of state, what were your goals? What are you hoping to get out of this? And so even that kind of helped me look to see, okay, what is it that I'm actually doing? I've done art most of my life, off and on. And the last 30 years were probably more off. And I think in this last year, I have created more art than I have in the 30 years prior. So that's huge for me. I've not spent that much time creating, and you and the program very much thanks to that, because in our individual meetings, in our group meetings, I always wanted to have something there different to share. Here's where I am now. Here's what I'm doing now. So that was extremely helpful. And the business end of it, which, you know, I'm still learning, but you have helped me, and the program has helped me so much. Try to, you know, look at those things, do some research, see what you need to do to get this started, and then just follow those steps, and just, you know, basically really one step at a time too, because sometimes I have a tendency to get a little overwhelmed by taking on too much or thinking about too much, as you know. So no, it's helped me be focused a lot more and just prioritize as well, and as well as just have fun creating. And there's that art brain again too, just do what you enjoy and what comes. So thank you.
It's
And
been,
to the rest
yeah.
of everybody too. It was so fun seeing everybody else's work as well. Most definitely. We are so varied.
Yeah, what a wonderful mix, right? We got.
It is.
I agree. Like it when Sue described some of our crits as a museum, that's the same feeling. After I leave one of our crits, especially when we got to meet in person, early before COVID really ravaged our community, it was so powerful. It was literally the same feeling that I felt, that same sort of inspiration that you feel after going to a show, and I'm so grateful to you all for for being so open and creating so generously and pushing yourself so that we could feel, just have that inspiration during such a difficult time, I'm really glad we had this time together. James, did anyone else want to share about the program?
Yeah, I wanted to answer the question too. I think I did see the program on Facebook. And same like everybody else has said, I was a little bit nervous about applying because I didn't know what I was getting into. I was just getting close to finishing my associates in art at Yuba College. And so I figured I'm getting the guidance from the professors at the school on how to make art, but you were offering the behind the scenes stuff, like like things that artists go through in their life and like how to be an artist, like besides your technical skill, right? And so that's what I felt like I was ready for at the time I applied. I thought it was the perfect time, and it turned out to be exactly that. So it was just I don't know, COVID sucked, and I forgot what I was going to say now. So, but thank you again for the program. I did it. I got out of it what I wanted to, and I appreciate everything that you gave us.
Thanks, James. Rochelle or Ash, you guys want to share any of like your inspiration to join?
Well, I found out about this through the same way that James did. I saw it on Facebook. And I ended up joining because my sisters kind of like nudged me into it. They're like, do it. It'd be good. You should just try it out. Just, I didn't know what I was getting myself into either, but I'm glad I did it. It's been fun. And I'm a little sad that it's going to be over soon.
Well, we'll end with a big bang with some really cool shows coming up. So I'm really excited about that. Rochelle, did you want to share anything about your joining the program? And then we can look at that next question.
Yeah, the timing on this was absolutely perfect. Lining up with the COVID, it kind of gave me something to do from going crazy, just making art and having a reason to make art, not just doing it for myself like I had you guys to be accountable for. So that was great for me. Getting the feedback from everybody too, just a little kind of community that was going on, and that was my inspiration for joining in the first place. Like everyone else, I found it on Facebook, but recently moved back to the area. I'm originally from Marysville, but upon moving back, I just wanted to kind of dive right back in and get my feet wet in the art community and start doing some shows and getting my art scene in different places around town here. So that was my main reason. And yeah, just getting the feedback from everybody has been incredibly amazing. And Tina's been super helpful with all of her guidance on turning a hobby into a business and how to go forward and feel. Yeah, I'm super sad it's going to be over, but it was a great opportunity. So thank you, Tina, and everyone else as well. I appreciate you guys.
I'm kind of sad it's going to be over too. But we know each other now, so there's something about that we don't have to stop connecting, right? And the galleries, we have multiple galleries in the town we can go to and see each other as we continue to be artists in the same place, right? So what was the other question that's going on? Let's see, what does the future hold for each of you in terms of your art, future plans, events, goals? Awesome. Another opportunity for you to talk about what's coming up. I know several of you have things coming up, and we can also talk a little bit about the shows coming up. So who wants to take it away here?
I'll be happy to start out again, since that's the flow, kind of. Future. Well, you know, the good thing about being an artist is you do keep evolving. You know, there's just something that you're inspired by doing something else and doing something else. And so specifically, though, I'm going to be putting some artwork out to some greeting card companies. I don't want to start a greeting card company, but I'd like to get some of the artwork out there. So I'm going to venture that way. I have a connection to start that process. I do have a piece in the October 2021 KVIE Public Television Art Auction. That's an annual fundraiser event. All the proceeds are donated to public television. And then we'll be doing our mentorship show in August. 4 of us will be doing a mentorship. From this mentorship program, we'll be putting together a show at 414 Gallery. And for the evolution of when I began this mentorship program to the show, I'm going to be doing one of my photographs installing with some other graphics, not just a photograph in a frame. I'm going to introduce it into kind of a setting, much like Kathy's collage was. So that's a year of evolution. That's pretty significant. So that's it for me. Thanks.
How exciting. Can't wait to see that work in the new show. Yeah, that's great. Anyone else want to share kind of what's coming up?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, our show coming up the first week of August. I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, the whole purpose of me moving to Santa Rosa was to find a live workspace, be closer to the ocean, be closer to more inspiration. But we do have the gallery soft opening here. Everybody's invited. It's going to be July 17th. It's from 4:30 to 8:30. And it's here at our studio at 516 B Street in Santa Rosa. So just very much looking forward to it. Everything we're doing right now is kind of aiming towards that. And as far as my art is concerned, I want to keep on experimenting and just keep on bringing in different techniques and different styles and see if maybe there's a new series coming down the road. I don't know. As far as that, I just plan on keeping on playing with it and just doing whatever comes into my little art brain head. So yeah.
Great. Looking forward to that event coming up next month and the group show as well. Any other? Yeah, Amelia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the future, this next spring, I'll be graduating from Yuba College with my associates in arts and hopefully an associates in math as well. And after that, yeah, I'm going to continue school to become a high school level art teacher and likely a math teacher as well. So I'm pursuing both of those things. Definitely an emphasis on art, but I love math, and it would be easier to find, a practical teaching job with both of those within my reach. So, yeah.
It's a pretty great artist brain you have, Amelia, to be able to do both that math side and that creative side, right? Way to capitalize on that. Very cool. Very, very cool. Who else? What else is going on? I know a lot of you have things going on. Yeah, James.
Yeah, so the future for me is I will be starting at Chico State in the fall, pursuing my bachelor's in arts. So I hope to just continue growing as an artist and learning more skills and talent. And now that I've been in this program, Tina's got me calling myself an artist. So I just want to keep that education going and see where it leads me.
Congratulations, James, on getting into Chico. That's fantastic. Looks like a pretty good program over there. So I'm excited to see how your work continues to grow with new voices speaking into it. Very exciting. Rochelle or Ash, do you want to share any of your future plans, things that are happening coming up?
I'm currently trying to, I am working on a webcomic that I'm hoping to maybe get out there in maybe the next year or two. And more immediately, of course, is this show that's coming up that all the mentees are doing.
So let's real quick, just before Rochelle chips in, let's go over those dates for everyone that wants, if people want to know about our shows. So we have 2 mentorship shows. The first one, and we'll be having artist receptions. Now, I didn't have a chance to confirm with everyone before this, but they're both on Saturday, correct? Is that correct? Seeing some nods. Okay, so I have the dates in my notes, so I can tell everyone. So we'll have artist receptions at 414 Gallery in downtown Marysville on 4th Street. On Saturday, July 31st, will be our first mentorship show. I know that their show is called 3, and it has work by Rochelle, Kathy, and James. And the reception is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, July 1st. Is that correct, artists? Okay, so everyone write that on your calendars. It's going to be awesome. Hope you can make it. The artists they're organizing this show. This is like their graduation event from the program, and it's going to be really exciting. I've sort of heard edges of the program. We're going to talk a little bit more next week about planning stuff, but I think these are going to be really solid shows. I hope everyone can make it. It'd be sad if you missed it. And then the next show is the following Saturday. And that is Saturday, August 7th, same time slot, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we will see work in that show by Ash, Amelia, Laura, and Sue. Is that all correct, artists? Yes. Okay. Do you have a title yet? Not to put you on the spot.
Yes.
For your show, what's your title?
Yeah, our title is
it a secret? I'm sorry.
No. Our title is Fruit Punch Collective. That's
Fruit Punch Collective.
Fruit Punch Collective.
Yes. Amazing. 3 and then Fruit Punch Collective. How exciting and dynamic and fun. I'm so excited. These names are fantastic. Okay. Okay, I didn't know that name until this moment, so you can see how excited it's gotten me. Okay, wonderful. I'm writing that down in my notes, so I know it. Okay, so 2 weeks of exciting shows with dynamic names. Get excited. Saturday, July 31st, Saturday, August 7th. Cool. Okay, Rochelle, what else is coming up for you? That was a little bit awkward, but we know I'm awkward, so it's okay.
I am, right. I am currently working on a mural that will be going up in Lincoln at the Feline Field Haven Center. So I'm hoping to have that wrapped up and installed by the end of this week. Besides that, I'm currently just getting stuff ready for the show. that we have coming up. So we'll see what I can come up with for that.
Very, very cool. So as you can see, folks, this mentorship program and the investment from Yuba Sutter Arts and California Arts Council, it's exploding outward. You hear about all these artists working on new projects and other projects coming from this investment. So I want to thank everyone for helping and supporting these artists, from the artists' families and the people around them in their lives. Thank you for supporting your artists to do this and spend this time with me. I think that the benefits of this to our whole community is we barely can start to see all the ways that this is going to have a powerful impact on the Yuba Sutter community. So we're so grateful to Yuba Sutter Arts and our family and friends, my husband Joe for being awesome and supporting me. Thank you so much. This has been such a meaningful year. Is there any other things that anyone wants to close out by saying to the community as we sort of assert ourselves into the conversations around art in our own neighborhoods?
Yes.
Anyone want to? Okay, thank you, Sue.
Yeah, I would like to, because it follows up on what you just said too. I mean, and this is an end to the mentorship program, but I see this as a continuum for each one of us individually and also even collectively, because I will never forget this. This is a part of my identity as an artist. So really, we've just dropped a stone in the pond, and the ripple effect is just going to go on and on. So it has a life. we collectively, thanks for the art, because I think that's what art does. Just going to keep resonating and radiating. So, hooray! Thanks, Tina.
Thank you all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you hopefully in a few weeks at our shows. July 31st, Saturday, and Saturday, August 7th. See you soon. Bye, everybody.